Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing Week 8 in college football right now with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. And as all our regular viewers know, Joe Duffy takes any game that I ask him to take. And some of these lines are just really tough. Now we're going to cover Virginia, Duke. I wouldn't want to make a pick on this one, staking my public reputation on it. But Joe Duffy doesn't care. Thanks so much for being back with us, Joe Duffy.
No, I do care, but I know more times than not, over the long run, when I stake my public reputation, I'm going to come out ahead.
All right. These are tough lines, though, Joe. But before we get to it, tell the public what your record is like at your website with your 4-pay picks where you're giving only your best bets.
Yeah, no, the NFL specialist, I was given that nickname back in the score phone days in the early 90s after about 5 or 6 years as a professional handicapper. Off a 4-0 weekend with spread games. We did lose one money line underdog, which we didn't pay juice, and then a total 4-2 overall, but 4-0 with games against the spread. Another big weekend coming up at OffshoreInsiders.com. 27 years full-time in the business, baby.
Duke and Virginia. Duke's a 2.5 or 3-point home favorite, and both these teams been very good bets. Duke for a while, for a couple of years now, has been very good bet, very solid program. They're coming off the Georgia Tech win. But, Virginia's coming off a bye. They're 5-0-1 against the spread on the year. So, I'm not sure I'd want to bet against Virginia coming off a bye, playing well, good program this year. Not sure I'd want to bet against Duke either. They're just a team that I don't want to bet against in general. Now they're at home, giving just 2.5 or 3. So for me, as of right now, it's a complete pass. But what's your take on this game, Joe?
Yeah, when you say they're 5-0-1, their one setback was against Pittsburgh, but that was a closing line where the Sharps actually bet that. So as far as where a lot of people, if you've been betting Virginia all year and you bet them early, you'd actually be 6-0. And that's not a huge shock because Virginia, they've been crazy under Mike London, where one year he looks like the biggest genius in the world. The next year, he looks like his job is on the line. And they weren't maybe they weren't as good as they were a couple years ago, but they certainly weren't as bad as they showed last year. They came back. They had some returning talent. Virginia is legitimately one of the most improved teams in the country. Sharps have been betting on them. You're right. Duke has been a sharp team over the past couple of years, mostly because Duke was a laughing stock, and now they're a pretty competitive team. Remember, they played in arguably the best bowl game of last year. The fact that they were a bowl team was something unheard of a few years ago, and I think the public still perceives Duke as a doormat, and that's one of the reasons why I can get a good number on that. But don't underestimate that Duke, their game against Georgia Tech last week, that's a little bit more of a rivalry, and I think that took a little bit more out of them than some people realize. But all in all, I still think that Virginia is one of the more they're sneaking a little bit under the radar because it's not like they're crushing teams and making massive statements. I don't think the markets have completely caught up to them. So I think this is one of those where Virginia is probably going to just sneak into the number because you're getting still good value on Virginia.
+3 is widely available number. Joe Duffy going with Virginia +3 in this Virginia-Duke interesting matchup. Thanks, Joe.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.